If they were to make a Cape Cod postcard for the winter of 2026, it would probably look like any of this snowbank-covered scenery. The commemorative stamp for the United States Postal Service would be this snapshot. But before we lock ourselves down in the Overlook Hotel with cabin fever, let's try to find a place where we can get out, move our bodies around, and breathe in some fresh air. The Dennis Conservation Land Trust oversees 700 acres of property in the town of Dennis. Scrolling through the several trails they have under their purview for us to choose from, we selected the Coles Pond Bog property, which right now won't look lush and green like it does in these photos, but it can still be accessed by way of Coles Pond Drive.
This trail is pretty short. It's about just under a half-mile in length, so it's the perfect trail to take, after Thanksgiving dinner for the folks in this neighborhood, or during a lunch break.
It should be noted that this trail is smack dab in the middle of a neighborhood, which is something to take into consideration before heading in and becoming engulfed in this tunnel of trees and brush.
So many of the properties we own at the Dennis Conservation Land Trust are relatively small and residential neighborhoods. Some of them, like Coles Pond Bog here, do have trails, so we encourage folks to visit. We just ask that visitors be mindful of the neighborhoods in which our properties sit.
And this means we should be considerate when parking, since it's pretty limited, and keep the noise to a minimum out here in the woods. That second part is actually pretty easy. The serenity found in these woods is at a premium out in the real world. Here, there's no endless construction, traffic, or strip malls, just the sight of nature running its seasonal course on the surroundings, with the knowledge that in only a couple of months, it will all be green again. There's also snow, lots of snow. Anybody who's looking for a little peace and quiet, we've got it here for sure. Actually, forgot I was in the middle of a neighborhood. But for anybody who might be interested in checking out some vernal pools, come springtime, this will definitely be the place to be. This area that we're trudging through here is where the Red Maple Swamp is located. In the spring, this is where the temporary shallow bodies of water known as vernal pools can be found. They're ideal breeding grounds for amphibian species like newts, frogs, and salamanders. And during the months of April and May, these woods become a symphony of sounds.
A trail like this, it's nice to visit throughout each season of the year, but spring is particularly spectacular because you hear all the spring peepers and other critters in their full breeding sounds.
For now, I'll just take the sound of snow crunching under my feet, while keeping an eye out for whatever animal left these decent-sized paw prints in its path. It's a nice loop trail on a 7-acre property, and the folks at the DCLT hope its visitors always show up with a sense of respect, admiration, and curiosity.
People use our trails, and we want people to use our trails for different purposes, whatever suits their interests. Primarily just to get outside and appreciate nature, maybe take a minute out of your day to relax a little bit. But most importantly, from my perspective, would be to learn something new.
Sport is all about connection, confidence, and community. Hockey has long been considered a male-dominated sport, but in recent years, the landscape has been shifting. Although women's hockey isn't widely available and most schools have to combine teams, it does not lack importance.
Hockey to me is all about the culture, and it's a culture that supports a lot of values that are really important in the real world. Being able to work with other people, being able to communicate, being able to be part of a group and get along with people, as well as all the individual goals, right? Being able to push yourself and motivate yourself and challenge yourself to be the best you can to accomplish your goals and to accomplish goals as a group. It's, I think this sport really embodies a lot of the grit and determination of day-to-day getting through life.
Any team sport is really important for any child's development. It teaches communication skills, leadership, but I think hockey is a sport that you really have to be determined with.
Besides the health benefits of playing such a physical and demanding sport, hockey is empowering, which goes beyond the sport itself. Cape Cod only has 7 high school girls hockey teams, but their rosters sure do contain a lot of talent.
I played hockey for 11 years. I started when I was 5, and yeah.
This is my first year, and I've been really liking it. It's really, just a good sport to, I don't know, it's hard to pick up, but I don't know, it's just a good environment, good sport to play. People think we're less tough and we don't are up to the boys level, but I feel like it's the same
It's the same sport.
same sport. It's just different rules but yeah, definitely different.
I feel like the people, there's a lot more people at boys games than there's at our games. Or even the NHL and the PW NHL, they get so much more fans and people always just Yeah. And even the pay for NHL players just millions of dollars, and female players get not even 100,000. It's just there's a lot that goes into it, I feel like.
People think that the boys you can be tougher on and the girls you have to be soft with, and I think that that's completely wrong. I think some of my toughest coaches were the ones that made me as good as I am.
I think that women's hockey can be treated differently and tends to kind of get looked down on at some points because it's not quite as fast, it's not quite as explosive when you compare peers, right? High school players, college players, professional players now. But I think when they do that, they really miss out on what a lot of the girls' game has in terms of when you take some of the intentional hitting out of it. It's still a contact sport, it's still an aggressive physical sport, but when you're not, ducking every 2 seconds to have somebody take your head off, you really can focus on the skill of the game. And so I think women's hockey, especially at the highest level, the skill and abilities really stand out and show you what a beautiful sport it is.
I want people to understand that we put in the same amount of effort, we practice the same amount, and we do all the same things. And it's obviously people like watching boys better for some reason, but it's still
we still
hockey.
put in all the effort all of the time.
Sports in general are amazing for building girls' confidence and self-esteem, but hockey takes that to another level.
I think it's just such a positive thing for females. All the studies show that girls who play sports tend to be more confident, be more successful, and it means a lot for me to be a part of that, and having a daughter who's been playing since she was 3 and loves the game. It's really great to see. I know that that's going to serve her well, the way it does all these girls.
We're here too, and they deserve to be celebrated. They're doing great this season.
I already am very impressed by how the team kind of bounced back from last year. We didn't even win a single game, but the first 2 games of the season we won. We're just practicing every day, trying to get better. The most important part is just having fun. I've always had fun playing hockey, even if it's a hard season. Not as many wins as we'd like. It's still at the end of the day, I still had fun. So. I love it.
You can start at any age or any time. I have been on adult skate programs with women who are in their 50s and 60s who have never touched the ice before. I think in general the sport is really empowering, and I think it's important that you try it, no matter what age you are. Just go do it, you can.
Barnstable Comedy Club is a local community theater in Barnstable Village, and we do 4 shows per year, which each show has 10 production dates. We do comedies, we do musicals, we do drama type productions.
The Comedy Club is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our goal is to get the community together and volunteer together, work together, and just be a place where people can learn more about the theater. And if they already know about the theater, it gives them an opportunity to act and sing and do all the things that they've always wanted to do.
The building was built in 1912, but the comedy club actually started in 1922, so we have been around for 104 seasons. My dad was the president here back in the 60s. It has some downtime during its 104 years in existence. During World War II, it was dark, and also during COVID, it was dark, but it's been in the community here for that long, and the villagers themselves had put their heart and soul into this organization. I think that's why it exists so long. They're not paid. They just do it for the love, because of the love of the theater, is what I think.
This village is magical, Barnstable Village. Everybody will tell you that. That's from the village. And I think that they're always looking for a place to get together, and they see their friends, and, and they just, it's the magic of the village.
The volunteers are the most important part of this club. Without them, we would not be here. We are 100% volunteer. We rely on
anybody, and whether they're local, whether they're off Cape, whether they're friends or cousins or whatever, we rely on everybody to make this place run. They are the key to our success. You can go to our website, barnstablecomedyclub.org. You can, see what type of opportunities we have. Give us a phone call. We'll make sure somebody calls you back. Come to one of our shows. We've got so many of them, and meet some of the people that are here. And once we get your name and your phone number or your email address, consider yourself a volunteer. We will find something for you to do. I think that theater is a really important outlet for people because it's not work. It's something where people can play, if you will, and it gives them an opportunity it's supposed to be healthy for your soul. I mean, granted, it can be very stressful putting on a play, but I think it's just a way to help your soul.
I know we've been around for 104 years, but even still, people in the village somehow don't know we're here because we're called the Barnstable Comedy Club, but we're not just a comedy club. We're a community theater, and we do all kinds of plays. Mm-hmm.
A layer of winter frost covers the old 1951 Buick Special sedan sitting outside of the restaurant, which for decades was known by locals as the Route 28 Diner. And while the interior and its countless decorations have remained largely untouched and unchanged, there has been one noticeable change: the name.
Route 28 Diner had lived and been amazing for so long, and had its peaks and had its flows, and it was time for a new name for the diner. So Mac Daddy's Diner had to be born that way.
As for the choice of name, there was actually a little more to it than just giving the place a new moniker.
Our partner Sean's last name is Mackenzie. My wife's middle name is Mackenzie. And so there was the Mac, and then obviously they needed a daddy, and that had to be me, so that's where that came from.
Aside from the name change, patrons may have also taken notice of the symbiotic relationship between the head chef and his top server at this little Yarmouth roadside diner. Turns out that several years ago, they realized they worked so well together, they might as well spend the rest of their lives together.
My wife and I have the best working relationship because we work off of each other's professionalisms when it comes to this business. She's the best in the business. She is. What I do is just the food, and I just cook it and I put it on the plate, but none of it happens without my wife's front of the house skills and her managerial skills and her technical skills and everything, seriously everything. If it wasn't for her, there would be no Mac Daddy's Diner, or it wouldn't be run very well, I can tell you that.
For Jill Toomey, who's worked with everything from high-end fine dining to standard American fare, her goal, no matter what she's serving or who she's serving, has always been to make the customers feel welcome and want to keep coming back.
I want them to experience the warmth and the comfort of, like, if they went to somebody in their family's house and they got greeted for breakfast or lunch in their family's house. I want that experience. I want people to leave happy, full, and laughing, and maybe making new friends in the process of it.
And judging by the turnout on a chilly February Thursday morning, the formula seems to be working. Here's a little fun fact. John and Jill Toomey didn't open their doors here until November 11th of 2025, so they still haven't had a chance to enjoy a Cape Cod summer at their restaurant yet. But with nearly 50 years of combined service between them, they know that once they get through this winter, there's something good waiting for them on the other side.
The only expectations that I've really ever had was driving by here. I never really came here during the summertime. I do know that there is a wait out the door. They are on a minimum of an hour wait, and for breakfast, that's a really long wait to have. But I'm ready to go. Let's do it. It's either not being busy at all or being extremely busy, and I'd rather be extremely busy than not busy at all.
Getting to the summer will require some sound financial planning and execution. So far, Jill and John have been able to stay on or near budget by doing all the heavy lifting themselves without bringing in too much outside help.
Keeping food costs down, keeping labor costs down, keeping all those things down in the winter months is essential, and it has to be done right. If you do it right, you can maneuver it, you can get by. You're not going to make the money you make in the summer and the spring, and you understand that, but as a year-round establishment for us, it's not about just summer and the spring for us, it's about every month, and every month is a good month for us. Every month is a new month. Every month is another opportunity to do better than we did the last month.
My name is Lauren Arcamano, and I am the Executive Director at the Chatham Conservation Foundation. The Chatham Conservation Foundation is the oldest land trust here on Cape Cod. We were incorporated in 1962, so we have been preserving land here in Chatham for over 63 years. And our goal, our mission is to preserve land for the people, plants, animals, and the ecosystems here in Chatham. We're here at Frostfish Creek, which is a tidal ecosystem, which has a culvert under Route 28. We're working with the town and the State Department of Ecological Restoration to hopefully restore tidal flow to this creek, which is very impaired. It has very poor water quality, bacteria, low oxygen levels. So our goal is to restore the tidal flow to increase habitat and species here in the creek. Right now, we are working on 7 other different restorations throughout town. We have over 800 acres. So some of our acreage is small. This one is on the larger side, but we have a little 1-acre area down at the corner of Old Harbor Road. We're removing invasive species and trying to replant natives. Over on Orleans Road in North Chatham, we've been working for the past 6 years to restore a meadow and an archaeological dig site next door to the Nickerson Family Association, where the original Nickerson homestead is. And then we have other little restorations, including the front lawn of the Mayo House, which is our headquarters on Main Street. And we tore up all the grass that was there once a long time ago and replanted that with all native species. So now it's a really great demonstration of what a Cape Cod lawn looks like, filled with pollinators, and it's really a beautiful place. Everybody stops and takes selfies there year-round. So we really love and really depend on our volunteers. We are a staff of 3, And we have, as I said, over 800 acres, over 225 properties that we monitor annually. And so our volunteers are crucial in helping us get lots of things done, from doing restorations to property monitoring. So we walk all the properties at least once a year, and having volunteers to help us with that just really is vital. I'm really, really proud of our staff, and they work so hard and they're so devoted to what they do. And our volunteers, it's for many, many years, for almost 55 years, we were an all volunteer organization. And what our volunteers have done has been just tremendous over the years. That almost a third of Chatham is under preservation because of what folks have done and the commitment they've made to preserving our open spaces. So, that's really exciting. Our website is at chathamconservationfoundation.org or ccf.org. We have great resources on there about how to grow a Cape Cod lawn, how to identify invasive species, and just lots of other great material. Overall, protecting lands like this helps to provide recreational opportunities for folks, as well as habitat for the species that live here. So we really look to try to preserve as much habitat as possible and connect them. So there's so much development and building here on Cape Cod, and particularly here in Chatham, there's just very little open space left. So we really look to connect the green spaces so animals have a wildlife corridor so they can get from one place to the next without crossing a road or being endangered by some other types of hazards.
Cape Media Center, building community through media.
For those who have driven past this location since the early 2000s, it may be difficult to believe that this was once a vast expanse of cranberry bogs. What we're seeing now is the result of a couple of decades worth of planning and eventual execution of a massive ecological restoration project that the Harwich Conservation Trust took on since purchasing these erstwhile bogs from the Kroll family back in 2001.
We created this eco-restoration outcome where we have restored water quality with Cold Brook flowing freely for the first time in over a century. We have thriving wildlife habitats, and we have a beautiful new trail system, including a half-mile wheelchair-accessible loop.
Named for the late founder and president of the Harwich Conservation Trust, the accessible trail has already proven to be a huge draw for the property. It's almost perfectly flat and easy to move across, and it's level with the several bridges that have been built over Cold Brook, giving its visitors plenty to look at.
The views are just extraordinary. When they come into the parking lot, whether it's a short-term visit to just take a lunch break, or whether they have more time on their hands and they want to take a longer loop, they can embark on this half-mile all-persons trail, a wheelchair-accessible loop. We're hearing from folks that might have had joint replacements or maybe some arthritis, and they want a stable surface to walk on. Families with youngsters and strollers are also enjoying it.
In that regard, the trail has earned itself the title of Ideal Lunch Break Hike for locals. And for those who may want to venture beyond the half-mile loop trail, there are options.
Here on this corner is where the two paths converge, and the trail goes from being wheelchair accessible to something a little more rugged. But if we continue moving forward in this direction, we'll come across the 100-foot bridge where we can take in some more views.
In our travels, we can see that the property is made up of 4 interconnected ponds. The first 3 are fresh water, and from the 100-foot bridge, we can see the 4th pond, which is a brackish mix of fresh and salt water. This eventually leads out to the edge of the property on Hoyt Road and continues on to Saquatucket Harbor. One other element that may stand out to first-time visitors to the property is the sheer volume of birdhouses that dot the landscape, and there's a good reason for it.
There has been an enormous increase in wildlife and avian activity. The avian count is somewhere around 162 species that have been documented on this site since we started keeping a count at the end of construction.
In its visual simplicity and natural beauty, the Cold Brook Preserve may be a helpful reminder for Cape residents, particularly those who have called it home for the past few decades, that there are still places on this special East Coast peninsula known as Cape Cod that are off limits for development.
My mom and dad raised my brother and I on the Cape. And so growing up on the Cape, especially in the 80s, I saw a lot of changes. I saw a lot of the wild places that I would turn to and explore. I saw them disappear. So it made an impact on me, and I'm so grateful to be able to work with the community and our project partners on efforts to restore and renew wild places like this.
But while all of this scenery is easy on the eyes, the truth is getting to this stage was no easy feat. As a reminder to visitors as to just how much work was involved in its creation, they've set up these information stations explaining the how and why of it all.
Part of what we hope people can understand is the complexity of this project and the complexity of the work that turned it from a cranberry bog into what they are seeing.
Cape Media Center, building community through media.
Hey, I'm Kayla. I was an intern at Cape Media Center back in 2019, and that experience totally launched my career in media.
And I'm Destiny. I was right there with Kayla in 2019, learning everything from camera work to editing and loving every second of it.
The staff here at Cape Media Center were always hands-on and always willing to answer our questions, especially with our final project.
We created a series of videos called the Blue Economy Project, where we dove deeper into how the ocean plays a vital role in Cape Cod's economy.
The series was well approved, and we couldn't have done it without the Cape Media Center.
Fast forward to now, I'm working in live music production and have even worked at venues such as Gillette Stadium and Fenway Park.
And I actually came full circle. I'm back at the Cape Media Center, this time on staff.
Cape Media Center gave us the tools, the confidence, and the real-world experience to chase our creative goals.
It's more than just a media center, it's a launch pad for your future.
Start your story at Cape Media Center in Dennisport.
Cape Media Center,
your voice,
your vision, your community.